Welcome to the Extraordinary Everyday Podcast, where women come to be inspired and motivated to become the best version of themselves and elevate the quality of their everyday. Now, here's your host, certified life coach, Wendy Johnson.
Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to another episode of the Extraordinary Everyday. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I'm excited to talk to you today about something that so many of us struggle with, perfectionism. Maybe you've set big goals for the new year, but you're hesitating to take action because you don't feel ready. Or maybe you find yourself procrastinating because you don't want to get it wrong. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. I know this struggle all too well. As a kid, I was always striving for straight A's, pushing myself to be the best in school sports, and even at recess, wanting to win. I didn't just want to play. I wanted to excel in everything. Later in my teen years, I started comparing myself to top models in magazines. Cheryl Tiggs was everywhere at the time. And I remember looking at those images and thinking, I need to be that perfect. If I felt like I was gaining weight, I'd go on a low-calorie diet trying to maintain this unrealistic standard. On the outside, I looked happy. I was always smiling, but on the inside, I was anxious, stressed, and exhausted. And this pattern followed me into adulthood. I didn't want to try new things unless I felt fully prepared. I feared making mistakes, looking like a beginner, or God forbid, failing. But here's what I've learned. Perfectionism doesn't help us. It holds us back. And today we're going to break free from it together. So what is perfectionism really? It's this deep-seated belief that we have to get it all right, that anything less than perfect is a failure. And the tricky part, perfectionism often feels like a good thing. We tell ourselves that we're just setting high standards. But in reality, perfectionism leads to procrastination because if we can't do it perfectly, we put it off. Anxiety and stress, burnout, and worst of all, never taking action at all. I saw this in my own life. For years, I avoided trying new things unless I was sure I'd be good at them. I told myself, I'll start when I'm ready. But here's the thing, we're never really ready. I see this with my coaching clients too. They wait for the perfect moment to start something, a project, a business, a new fitness routine. But perfectionism steals progress. It convinces us that if we can't do something flawlessly, we shouldn't do it at all. And in today's world, social media makes perfectionism even harder to escape. When I was a teenager, I compared myself to magazine models like Cheryl Tiggs. But now we have millions of curated, filtered, and edited images hitting us every single day. We scroll through Instagram and see perfect homes, perfect bodies, perfect vacations, and perfect relationships. And even though we know these images are edited and staged, our brains still like to compare. We think, why doesn't my life look like that? Or why am I not as successful as they are? And it's not just pictures. It's this idea that everyone else is doing life flawlessly. We see highlight reels, not reality. And this can make us feel like we're always falling short. But here's the truth. Nobody's life is perfect. The people posting those perfect images, they have struggles, insecurities, and bad days, just like we do. If you find yourself caught in the trap of comparison, remind yourself social media is a filtered version of reality. And instead of striving to be perfect online, focus on being real in your actual life. The shift that changed everything for me was embracing imperfect action. I remember when I decided to start doing live videos for my coaching business. Let me tell you, I was so nervous. My hands were sweating, my voice was shaky, and I was terrified I'd mess up my words. And guess what? I did mess up. I stumbled over my sentences. I forgot what I wanted to say while I was live. But do you know what happened afterward? I felt amazing. Not because the video was perfect, because it wasn't, but because I did it anyway. That's when I realized progress matters more than perfection. Taking messy action is so much better than waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. And this shift, moving from a perfectionist mindset to a growth mindset, changes everything. When we focus on growth, mistakes become lessons. We stop fearing failure and start learning from it. So, how do we actually let go of the need to be flawless? Here are 5 things that have helped me. Number 1, start before you're ready. Newsflash, you're never going to be fully ready. That thing you've been putting off, do it today, even if it's messy. Number 2, take imperfect action. Don't wait until you have all the answers. Start now. If I had waited until I felt confident about live videos, I never would have done them. Number 3, challenge your inner critic. When that little voice says you're not good enough, respond with, so what? I'm learning. Growth is the goal, not perfectionism. Number 4, redefine success. Instead of aiming for flawless, aim for better than yesterday. Success isn't about getting everything right. It's about moving forward. Can you be 1% better than you were yesterday? Number 5, practice self-compassion. Talk to yourself like you'd talk to a friend. Would you tell a friend you're a failure because you made a mistake? No. So don't say it to yourself. As we step into this new year, I want you to ask yourself, where has perfectionism held me back? What's one imperfect step I can take today? Maybe it's launching that side business, signing up for that class, or finally putting yourself out there in some way. Whatever it is, start before you feel ready. I want to offer a simple exercise. Write down one goal and list 3 imperfect actions you can take toward it. Because here's the truth. Perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. And when you start embracing progress, you'll realize something incredible. You don't have to be perfect to be successful. You just have to keep going. I hope this episode has inspired you to take action, even if it's messy. If perfectionism has been holding you back, know that you can break free from it one imperfect step at a time. I encourage you to choose one area of life where you'll embrace progress over perfection this year. I want to close with an inspiring final thought. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be in motion. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Come share your experiences with me on Instagram at wendy.johnson_. And if you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It helps more people find these messages. Until next time, remember, you are extraordinary, not because you're perfect, but because you keep showing up. Thank you for showing up today to listen to this episode. I appreciate you, and I look forward to being with you next week. Take care, friends. Bye-bye. Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out More You, my community of like-minded women. We show up to create the highest version of ourselves and elevate the quality of our everyday along the way. Head over to ontraclifecoaching.com/join. That's ontraclifecoaching.com/join. I'd love to see you in there. And if you haven't grabbed your copy of the Mindset Makeover, head over to ontraclifecoaching.com/makeover and get a copy that teaches and inspires you to show up as your most extraordinary self.